Hi everyone, Christina here. Today I'm going to be talking about metaphors versus literal and which is mindfully powerful when creating a strong mental health brand. Let's go. So let's talk a little bit about literal and let's just have a simple definition for it. So literal means that you're using the word in its basic form and basically just taking it as it is. And unfortunately, when it goes into any kind of context or any kind of creative project and it's taken on a literal level, it comes off as really boring and static. And, that might turn people away because it's not very creative, it's not very explorative or experimental. We want to kind of eliminate that literal term because it doesn't really push for engagement, if you know what I mean. It's very dry. That's really it. You're just taking the word as it is and nothing more than that, and not trying to think outside the box a bit more and exploring where you could take this. So sticking to literality in branding, so whether it's your writing for your story, so your copy writing for your brand story or for your collaterals or any of copy on your website, if any of this is taken too literally and put on these platforms, they're going to come off really boring and your brand's going to fall flat. People are just going to walk away from this type of information because it's either just not creative enough or not exciting enough, and it's just too heavy in context. It's taking everything too literally, where they just want something that's, to the point but creative. Website, if you're digging into your process in terms of like onboarding your client in terms of counseling sessions or therapy sessions in the arts department, if you're too caught up in your process because you're taking your services too literally and not really focusing on the results, that's definitely going to be another turn off for people, because again, we want to focus on the results and what you can bring to these people with your services, not so much about the process and how this person's going to go from A to B. Now, mind you, the process is good to share, but I'd say don't make it like 50% of your site. You want to, break it into steps, of course, so that they know where to go, but really encourage on getting creative with your wording in terms of what this, session is going to bring them and how they're going to feel. People don't care about the process as much as you think they might. They're just more focused on what you're going to provide them. And again, going back to what they want to feel and what they're going to feel after they work with you. So I can take me for an example. Back in the day, as a designer, if I'm trying to sell any sort of service to people, I used to be so caught up in the process where it's like step one, we're going to do this. Step two, we're going to do this. And then step three, we're going to do this. And then this is all going to come together in the end and give you this final product. Now, that was all great and stuff and all detailed and, really focusing on what you're going to get out of it. But it was really missing something that was really important. What this whole package was going to bring to this person and what it's going to benefit them in the future, because building a brand and designing a brand is an investment. It's not something that is something that I can do in a day. It's an investment. It's something that is going to take a couple of months to build. It could be weeks, it could be months, but that's something that is really important to emphasize here, is that it's not much of the process. It's more of just how is your service going to, change their lives. I got caught up in that, and that was me being too literal to actually what I do, instead of, digging a little deeper and digging into the emotional aspect of things, of, what I do as a designer and how my talents and skills can change your lives. And I need to focus on that part. So that's something that you need to be mindful of. You have to switch that mindset and think about your customer. And that's something that I'm continuing to practice. All right, let's talk about metaphors. Now, metaphors, they dig a little bit deeper on the word, and they share a little bit more of an abstract perspective of the word in a story type of format. And this brings a lot of engagement because it draws people's interest. It's one of those, oh, I never thought about it like that. That's a very good metaphor. And it shares a little bit more of a deeper meaning. And that is a different expression, right? It gets people curious, and it gets people really thinking on a deeper level of, this word. This word can mean, this, where, it's raining cats and dogs, but it's literally not raining cats and dogs. It's just another form of expression. And that's what makes things so interesting. It's taking, a word and putting a poetic type of term to it. You're creating a story around this word, but it has a connection with it. So it's more of a figure of speech. It makes things memorable and interesting. And that's what you want. You want people to remember that metaphor because it helps them learn, and they can tell other people about it as well. One little metaphor that I have is pretty much in branding, and it helps people to understand the importance of the 7 brand elements. And basically, I take the 7 brand elements and I put it in a metaphoric term where you're making a dish. You're making, this sort of recipe where it's maybe like a pasta salad or something. And you need the 7 ingredients to make this perfect dish. And if any of those ingredients, aka 7 brand elements, are missing, then you don't have the perfect dish. Something is missing and you can see it. So that's my metaphor in terms of how I explain branding to people. And that's something that you should take on as well when you're talking about, the mental health and how important it is to keep ourselves mentally well. And if there's special metaphors that we could tie in with, your services that you provide or what you're educating people, it really helps people to understand the meaning behind it, and it actually sticks with them in their minds because it's a metaphor, it's memory. So using metaphors in branding really also helps to communicate your message, because even your message could be a metaphoric tone, and it pretty much sheds your message into a new light, and it has a more powerful approach, to society, and people will gravitate to that because it's something new, it's something fresh. I really like this type of message, and people can resonate with that. And metaphors are amazing, strong communication devices. These are pretty much the key to opening any door to gaining customers and building relationships. That's why they are so commonly used in branding, in storytelling, any type of creative service. Metaphors are always there. Even in movies, and when it comes to your services, metaphors can be used to talk about your services, because metaphors can be a different way of explaining what your services can bring to these people and what kind of results are they going to see or feel after they work with you. And using those types of metaphors helps them to get an emotional feel to what they could be expecting from. Metaphors can use to talk about your services, but beyond your special features and your special highlights and your process, the metaphor can go beyond that. And the metaphor can actually highlight the significance of your brand and the service that it could provide you. And we just completely ignore your special features of your services and any type of process that you might have. It's just really catering in on significance. So I am a brand designer, and I'm here to help female mental health professionals create authentic brands so that they feel emotionally aligned, not only to their brand, but to the right clients that they want to attract, making them feel real and authentic to themselves and to also their people. And that's what's really important to these individuals. They have a clear mindset through clarity and alignment. And from there, they can help the people that they resonate the most with because they're able to speak to them just through the authentic self that they established. So right there in that example, I was really focusing on the results and how they would feel after working with me. They'll know that they found clarity and they can see the goal post where they have to reach that next goal. And when they're talking to their people, they know exactly what to say. And that's why I was saying in there that they feel emotionally aligned to their people. So there's that visual, there's an alignment there, and they feel connected to their people because they're coming from an authentic viewpoint. So I was doing a lot of describing, and that's definitely something that metaphors do. They describe something, and that's something to think about when you are trying to sell yourself and pitch something to people, because people like that heavy description and emotional touch as well. So which one is mindfully powerful? So I believe that it's the metaphors that are the winner for this, for creating a strong mental health brand. And the reason for that is your brand's going to be dynamic. You're going to be able to be flexible and grow your brand efficiently and smoothly, and still have, room for what you've already established. So you're coming from an emotional side this time when you're using metaphors. When it comes to your brand storytelling and creating the type of content that's relatable to your people, you're really focusing in on now the transformation that people are looking for. And that there really wins people's hearts. So that's it, everyone. That is it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And let me know if this was helpful and if you found this valuable. And I hope that you stick around for more of my videos. Have a good day, guys. Bye.